hate Canada. Population's going up here, and they're not ready for it. And I'm done. I don't like CPC. I was in the Canadian Green Party, and I'd work with any party that would come up with a environmental, fiscal, economic solution to the problem. But oh no, there's no talk. It's just a bunch of mouthpieces on YouTube that are really messing up the country. Like, speak truth. But are you speaking what you know? That's all you know, because they've been deleting archives. So I was born in 1955 in Collingwood, Ontario. Things weren't too bad. It was liberal. It was old school liberal. It's so bad when the Mike Harris got in. It went, oh, the hell, this town went to hell. They opened up traffic, highways and traffic and noise. Yeah, they haven't got a clue how to run the country. CPC, Canadian Conservatives. So they're the worst damn party, and you can get to Doug Ford. You got to sue him all the time to get anywhere with him, to keep him in straight check. Now the Auditor General's looking at Doug. Where are you getting this money from? So he's going to build over wetland and golf courses and everything because he's pocket lined. Doug says, he can call me at this number anytime. Yeah, but it's not private. It's private line. We want to see your log. And who's paying you for this? To build over wetlands, build over trees and parks and everything. Oh, you fund hospitals, so they're doing other stuff. A country needs economy. I heard some Aussie saying things, but they're probably pocket line. High density housing. I disagree. Australia's a big country, and so is Canada. I don't like high density. That's why Alberta's doing better. They're a lower density population. But I'm not conservative. I'm an environmentalist. Can't live here. It's dangerous to live here. They want to punch you. Our climate scientists left when Harper was in power. Did you know that? They had to go. They were silenced. So the story just kept on going that there's no climate change and climate deniers. I think the gay and transgender community get attacked because most of them are environmentally conscious. I think women get attacked. Jordan picks on women and transgender and gay part people. And I think he's a part of the problem. He's paid by Exxon. So why listen to him? And I've studied psychology. I don't like his psychology at all. I wouldn't. He's too complicated and he's full of rubbish. He's an angry white guy. So I came to the understanding after studying from Arizona online. I'll finish that off. My trauma, I got compound PTSD. I do not have bipolar. It mimics it. And I'll tell you, when you're in trauma, people say you're always changing your mind. Yeah, it's regulating my life to get out of Canada. I want out of here bad. I'm traumatized because I don't like PCs. They've been the trouble of Canada for years. The Canadian Progressive Conservatives. Fall up, woke. You know what he was attacking when he said woke? The CBC, they're coming out with the truth. They don't like truth because they're liars all the time. They're woke. I want to get out of Canada. The crime rates are going up. What do? You fund doctors. You fund doctors to pay prescriptions. You got a fentanyl opiate problem. And, I went to the doctor. I got a doctor here, but I can't see her. Why? I got to make an appointment online. What appointment? Wi-Fi was that? What the hell's that? You can't walk in there anymore. They're so busy. She's no good anyway. She just pushes pills on me. I don't like Ontario. It sucks. But I'm here to get some justice. I've been fighting, and my excuse for not getting justice, I got compound PTSD, and I wasn't being accommodated by the human rights or anything. Now, listen, Canadian war vets are the same way. I understand PTSD, and it became a part of my education to understand post-traumatic stress. And I'm taking these courses from Arizona. It's making sense. I'm a big man on. I was in the horse business, so I know how to run horses. And I might have to do anything. I might go down to Arizona and study under Linda Kohanawa. I don't know if I can. I'm just going to get a passport and get flying. I'm tired of Canada. I hate staying stuck. Where I want to end up is Albury, Australia. My cousin went there, and it's a nice town, a city. It's a city. I like cities that are got a rural flavor, not too far from country, from wineries, and you can get out of the city easy. This country here is like go to Toronto. It's like takes hours to get out of Toronto. A bus or anything. It's so big. Same with Sydney. It's a very big city. I wouldn't live in Sydney. They're too big. They're too high density. Albury is sort of in between. Up in Queensland, it's got everything there. I'm not too far away from the mountains, Snowy River, and that way. And I can take a plane anywhere in Australia. I just want a base. So here's my issues. I want to help Australia's horse racing. They recovered when the economic collapse after World War I and II. I read it. Burnborough, remember that horse? And the hospital with him. My mother saw Fairlock win in Sydney. Horse racing and sports has been Australia's kicker. Canada came up after World War II with affordable housing. They're called wartime houses. Well, we don't have affordable housing. Now, I could blame Trudeau. I could blame where it started, Stephen Harper. And I don't know if he run out the housing market. It's libertarianism, letting people flip houses, deregulation. And Mike Harris was terrible for deregulating. Washington people died up there. I am political, but they say you're political. Damn right I am. I don't want a bad government. I want a good government. And I don't want Paul up. And so I'm going to be leaving Canada. I've had it. I'm not living under right-wing rule. And go out to Alberta, you got another right-wing dinger in there. It's just dissident garbage. I'm not a conservative. I never will be. It's not tattooed on my ass. I'm the Green Party before. I'll go to anything that's going to work in environmental solutions to cut down carbon. So I was thinking in Albany, I'd like to buy a Mercedes, at least one. Electric. I like to get off gas. I don't want gas. And, there's incentives there. I was looking in New South Wales and that area, incentives. Now, there's things you probably won't like in Australia. They got a strong law, and I don't know what to think on the vaccines. They recommend you should have them. Well, I got to have them, so I'll get them. And I'll just go to a health agency and get them. I can't get to the doctor. I've got 3. Well, I got a booster. As long as I can get out of Canada and become Australian. And for $180, I renounce citizenship because I'm not living under PCs, CPT, and Jordan Peterson. I don't want to hear him anymore. If I ever get into Parliament in Australia, I'll put a damn block on him coming in the country. I don't want him coming in because I'm for women's rights. time for women's equality. I've been always fighting for it. He's a rubbish prophet. And he's just got on there and he's never shuts up. You see me, I'm getting mad, but let go of the anger. You'll be away from him by quite a few thousand miles. Just keep him out of Australia, Mike. He's a part of Illuminati or some damn thing. I don't know what the hell he is. Pretty dark, and he's pretty dark, bastardly. My friend dropped out of UFT years ago. I don't blame him. It was getting an accolade school. Jane Jacobs wrote about it. It's not about education or learning something for a creative skill, like a liberal understanding of his topic. What she wanted to major in was linguistics and finding the variances and doing research of how the languages are related, but he couldn't do it. They put the yuppies came in and they put all these accolades in, remember? So I said, what are you going to do? Well, I got a trade and Dad taught. I can't work. I got a curvature of the spine. I'll hire people. Where are you going to hire? Different trades workers, different languages. So he learned all the languages talking to him. Read books and took one out to Cape Breton, New Brunswick, and bought a lot of land out there. He lives out there like a hermit, they say. I think he's smart. I don't like cities. I like to live just out in the sticks. I don't mind going into a city. And but cities are dense. I like the small, tiny house solutions. I don't like big houses. I'd have to get married or hire somebody to look after the place. I like it quiet, easy to keep place. Grow a garden, easy to look after. But I can't do anything if I'm living here. The price of everything's going up. But I'll get out of Canada. I'm filing under Charter Rights and Freedoms or any way I can. The crap I went through. I'm a victim of armed robbery, and they got to look at that. It was a catch and release system. I was just doing an honest job that night. He pulled a 12-gauge Todd off at me. I was a man that supported gun freedom. I thought I changed all of a sudden. I want gun control. Before, I was a man that thought everybody should be allowed to have a gun. Things change you and you get 5 rounds fired at you. And police came up and helped me out. But the courts didn't. They let him out and he murdered another man. Well, they're doing it in our police now. Catch and release law. So I was sitting in the bar and a guy come in. He's from Alberta. He's a Alberta criminal lawyer. What's wrong with you, buddy? You're just sitting there. I'll buy you a beer and I'm going to talk to you about law. I'll tell you what he told me. I said, I got shot at. You got shot at? Somebody shoot at you? Did you shoot at yourself? We're getting pretty drunk, too, the lawyer and me. I said, no, I didn't shoot at myself. He shot at me. Oh, that's too bad. I could have got you off for, I get all the crooks off. That's it. He makes more money getting criminals off than defending citizens of Canada. So what's that paper for? A citizenship protects you and your liberty and your rights and freedom under a democracy, right? Where's the democracy in that? And are you going to argue with me about democracy? Are you going to argue with me about, I see that on here, a bunch of right-wing libertarians that got lost on what freedom is. Freedom for them, they have the money, nobody else. Australia's got good laws, and a man can make a living there in the sport he loves, horse racing. Chris Waller's doing amazing there. And I just always been struggling Isn't it funny? Resilience makes you better. Resilience. So I found some things that are going to get horses some. But this light repair unit that I think is the best I've ever seen. I've been looking for them. Laser light is in China. They got a war on China, the CPC, so it is political. It's political and it's about my business. So they told me move to all that area, start doing equine therapy. And I'll do that, and I'm making enough money. I'll do voluntary work for mental health. I will. I want to volunteer and help the country. And I just signed up for a voluntary thing in Wodonga, Albany, because there's so many, and helping other practitioners. The mental health needs to be helped along, and I've learned a lot of skills. So my glasses are busted, but I think I'll be better there. I'm happy there. I'm not happy here. So I was dating her. She's 36, young woman. She said, I was really happy in Australia. Not happy here. I don't blame you. You know what I see? We got a housing shortage here. I see women saying this. It's all over the world. My kids, I'm a divorced woman. I got to work 3 jobs to keep them out of those rotten shelters that paid by brokers. Real estate was a noble profession. Now it's just robbery. And they know it's crashing, so they're taking advantage of it. Anybody that's not aware that the Canadian economy is on the tipping point is being foolish. Being in the Green Party of Canada, we were watching this, and we were watching Flaherty. I think Flaherty was a good conservative, the finance minister. There's Harper up there shooting his mouth off. How can you say that? But he died. Jack Layton died too. Did they poison him? Jack might have done some good, but he died. Same illness. Somebody said to me, do you think they might have killed him? Yeah, he was talking something that Canada was supposed to listen to as a finance minister. Cut back. Hold down on this pony now. It's out of control. You're spending too much. They didn't. They ignored him. And so did Harper. At the end of Harper's reign, I had conservatives coming to me and saying, we want him out. Yeah, but you didn't get anybody better. Brian Mulroney, he was a good conservative. So is this partisan? No. Brian Mulroney was Elizabeth May was working for him. Did you know that? She was his environmental advisor, the environmental minister of Brian Mulroney's Conservative Party. But I think Brian Mulroney was a conservative, not a conservative PCP. These party came out of reformists. It's like the reformists of, we took religion in North America. We had reformists come in. The Puritans came in. And then we got John Calvin, and he reformed the fundamentalist religion. And I think he was the one that came out with the Christian work ethic. I've never read that in the Bible. But the way Christians say breakfast. So I'll go back to Canada. And I want to talk about, and the United States. Henry Ford came out with the T Model Ford, right? That was good. People worked a 40-hour week, and he found that was a good equilibrium of keeping manufacturing going. Then we got into computer technology, and we got rid of unions. We got rid of a lot of things, and people started working more hours on computers. They take the computer with them everywhere. Is this a balanced society? It's a mental health problem. It's a mental health problem. Children aren't getting the nurture they need. So I've been learning some techniques to help my clients if I get it. I like to do a bit of therapy part-time and retire. But right now, I can't retire in Canada. It's too expensive. A lot of people are going to other countries. There's nowhere to go in Canada. The prices are so high for a retiree that they stole all my assets. Now, if I can get some assets back or get this diagnosis changed from bipolar, which was wrong, to compound PTSD. So, as a holistic practitioner, I want to concentrate on trauma, PTSD, and compound PTSD. The funny thing about compound PTSD is you cannot diagnose it. DSM does not have a diagnostic manual on this. And it always comes up bipolar. And I got a lot of research on this. I found some compound PTSD groups. And it's tough. There's no one to talk to about it. But, the problem with PTSD and using psychic ability and unfolding all this I've got to the point, I want to learn the Erickson. I want to learn hypnosis. So people can remember, pull it up, and sort it out. Because it gets buried away. I think there's a lot of tools we can use. When you bring it up, we have to use a therapy called emotional freedom and NLP and cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm serious. I'm really been studying this. And, I was sort of turned off on psychology because it was just going one way. It was Canadian form. So I started studying in Britain. Libby Shears was great. And she turned me on. She says, you need some help. I do. But I just broke my glasses. Put this on. But I can't believe our government, I think what's happened is this neoliberalism opened up that pipeline. And that was the start of all this. Now our country's all divided up. So they'll be telling you they want sovereignty over each province. So Alberta does. Neoliberalism was to appease all the parties. You couldn't without a proportional economic, political system. People don't have to vote in Canada, and they don't. And they just don't talk politics. Well, in Australia, you got rid of Scott Morrison, and you chose the Labour Party. I like what they're doing. They'll probably get rail services going. Japan got a high-speed rail, and I think China has, and I think you can too. I've traveled that corridor between Melbourne and Sydney. It's one hell of a long bus ride. A train would be better, electric train. And I think it'll give jobs to Australians. I've been following Australian politics. I'm fed up with Canada. It's like America. And they're all coming up from the States like Joe Shapiro or another right-wing dinger. And going in with Jordan Peterson and all those. They're just defending the oil sector. The problem with the oil sector is this fake richness. It's fake richness. It's all to a one-trick pony that and Jordan came out and said it, and I looked it up. But Elizabeth May says, no, that's not true. It's our country was diversified, but it's starting. If they don't have multi-diversity in our economy, we'll crash. The other thing that'll crash us is not doing trade with China. Australia And that's what I want to do. I talk to Chinese; they're not that bad. They could send me a missile. I'd rather trade products and services. I can make $400 on each unit I sell of theirs. And that will get me making money every day. And I want money coming in. I got my pension, it'll go over there. But if I'm going to denounce citizenship because I don't want to pay taxes here, because it's not worthy of paying taxes. They've been cutting education, everything to CPC. Why would I live here? I want my kids to get ahead. I'm a life coach. I want a better world. But I'll never have a good world with those boys and girls. I remember my cousin left Canada with Diefenbaker, another piece of garbage, conservative. Oh, hell, you had the Great Canadian Brain Drain, 1959 to 1960. So NASA developed, they went to the United States. Remember that? And who was in power then? That was Democrats. It was Kennedy. And he started the space race. Out of the space race and out of the everything came the first internet system. And it was a defense system. And we built communication of internet on that from the development of everything since then. I can remember Sputnik. I remember that day, Sputnik, and they put a dog in space. The Russians, Gorbachev. I can remember all that. I remember the day that Kennedy got shot in Texas. Saw it on TV live. Black and white then. I can remember it. I can remember. So, is my life unworthy of living? I think it's worthy of living and continuing and helping the world by keeping a history that's going. And they've been the leading archives, the CPC. They're my enemy. They're my forced to leave Canada. Pierre Paulus is what I call a scoundrel. An attack dog. Who talked about this? An American that was named Napoleon Hill, that was a very wealthy man. And he says, you can tell a scoundrel, he'll run down people. And he's a scoundrel. And so is Jordan Peterson. He attacked Trudeau. That's not his job. He's supposed to be a professor of psychology. My professors, I had one from Princeton. He never ran down political parties. He was a professor of Buddhist psychology. I studied that. And Buddhist psychology is what people don't get because it's Eastern. I think there's a lot of Asian culture in Australia, the oceanic countries. And I think it'll work down there. I have a problem. I want to get help, and they send me to the Catholics. I don't go to Catholics. Why? I'm a Reiki master, and they've deemed that the devil. And another thing that they deemed is the augmented fourth, because I'm a blues player. They've been deeming a lot of things to the devil. The augmented fourth, flat fourth in the scale, is the devil. And so is Reiki. And so is, who else has Reiki's been? Reiki is a part of the quantum reality of higher energy sources coming into this planet. So I'm finishing up here, and I'm going to study ancient magic. I'm going to get a card on there. I just lost my lens, glasses. But I combine ancient magics, angelic healing, and crystal grid. We know the grid's been activated since 212, the Earth grid. the ancients know this. Well, it's in tune with the angelic realm. So when I do a healing, I've been doing these healings on myself and the clearing. I draw up I get the 4 watchtower angels, and I draw up the energy for the grid in the earth. And I can feel it coming up, and the presence of angels are around me. I use Kundalini energy to bring down gold light. And that's how I make my practice room. And if I'm treating people, I'll do it that way. I know it's metaphysical, but do you see psychiatry working with drugs? Yeah. It's a band-aid. I'm for good psychiatry that says you can't cure PTSD and compound with drugs. We know that. But Dr. Vets, they said stuff's dreadful. Man, what a bunch of garbage. That stuff will balance you. Now, I'm a guy with horses. Do we put a benzodiazepine in there? Oh, no. That balances them. And she told me to bugger right off. She was a shrink. Because I knew. I said, do you know anything about, you can go F off, dear. She's a shrink. She told me to F off. Oh, I said, have you ever studied Jungian psychology? You can F right off, dear. Oh, thank you. Isn't that nice? So you're a professional. Well, a Queensland psychiatrist, he says Nick Kelly didn't say such his life, and I say he did, but it might be a metaphor. And he says he couldn't, and he analyzed it. See, Carl Jung did not get into the analytical school. He broke away from Freud. He's studying that too. Jordan Peterson studies it, but I don't know where he gets this. He confuses you. He's too much garbage. You want to study Jung? Read him. Don't listen to him. That's a filtered interpretation of garbage. Don't study Marxism under him either. It's filtered. Read for yourself. Don't let him read for you because he's screwed up. He's boring too, and he sounds like Elmer Fudd. I just trying to hide him. Let him stay there. He's boring as hell. Why wouldn't you listen to that? Yeah, there's a few people I don't like on YouTube. Saudi Guru. Why? Well, I was going to start taking his courses because I thought he was spiritual. I was on LinkedIn, on Udemy. I take a lot of courses there. They took them off. And then he attacks Reiki and what? And I got wondering about Dorian Virtue. I was reading her cards. And she was a Reiki master, and she says it's the devil. I think her chakras got out of balance. I think that's what's happened. And because it happens to Reiki practitioners, we don't keep grounded and work on ourselves. So I've been learning as an energy healer that there's a lot of things we have to do. My teacher taught me essential oils and crystals. She's in Calgary, Alberta, Lisa Powers, and she was going through a lot of shifts. Let's talk about this. The earth is changing drastically. So everybody's going through these emotional shifts. And I think Dorian Virtue went through it. She was a good oracle card reader. And I read oracles, but I couldn't use her cards because the spiritual guidance was the cards were sticking together. And I didn't know what that meant. And then I heard her saying this about Reiki, and then I started hearing her talking against yoga. Do we go against... I'm a non-denominational spiritual man. I don't go against Muslim. I don't go against Hindu. I respect all religions. I think you can find good in everything. Reiki is not a religion. It's an energy healing. And it's hurt. All this stuff on YouTube has hurt the practice. I get clients, oh, I don't want you to do Reiki on me. It's your intention. You know, I do Kundalini Reiki, and it's against it. There's no intention to it. It's just manifesting. We all have intention, but there's no intention to energy healing. We use symbolisms and we draw in the energy, but we're not intending anything. Anything spiritual backfires on us if we put intention to it. There's a lot of charlatans that do put their intention into things, so that's not good. I've learned a lot about energy healing and different systems. So I'm going to continue and not listen to lies. I got lens popped in there. But when I listen to people and I find somebody I like in China working with me, I'm going to work with her. And she's going to help me get the... Right, they were saying we want somebody to help us fix these horses up. I don't blame you at Flemington, mates. You know, he says, I've been training horses since I was 16 years old and exercising them. And now I'm an owner at Flemington. And I have a big barn. He says, it's drug barns. It is. I was running my business out here. Well, naturopathic horse, mate. Well, you want natural methods, and then we can call a veterinarian when things aren't working. But you sure don't want to be drugging them up all the time. So my problem with horses was the hocks and the knees were swollen so bad. Of course, I wasn't running on turf, but turf will be a little softer. And but you do have those problems. I found laser therapy, and I was wondering where I learned this. Well, he called me up from North Virginia. He's a whisperer up there. And he had a unit, but I think this is better. So I said, Dan, what happened to your unit? Well, a medical lab picked it up and they want to use it on humans. They bought it off me. I can't use the rights to it. It was $55,100 US. Yeah. What you have to learn with laser light is the meridian zones on a horse in those areas that are affected. And it's like horse reiki. You have to know the chakra zones and the meridian zones. So it takes a bit of a study in the Oriental arts and the Vedic arts to get that down with racehorses. But I know the anatomy. But I got to understanding the chakratic and the meridian zones. And then I learned glandular functions. And sound therapy and sound clearing gets that stuff out of there. To open up the third eye, we use energy healing. There's a symbol in Kruna Key that will clear the third eye, pineal chakra energy, so you're more clairvoyant. And there's tapping techniques, EFT. I'm learning all this. EFT, emotional freedom technique. They help psychics. I helped a psychic, and she was blocked in the crown chakra in the United States. She's a good reader, oracle card reader. And I opened up her crown chakra. All of a sudden, she's reading again. So I couldn't find the crystal. I'm going to buy some crystals if I can get the business going or get out of here. You know, I might get enough if I get the legal help to pay off everything and buy some crystals for her to go. I'm taking courses and continuing, but I don't want to live in Canada. I've had a hard go with the PCs. I wanted to start a business in the equine field of healing horses. He wasn't going to give me any funds, nothing. PC. If you're helping animals, you can, they've sued Doug Ford for animal abuse, so that's all right. The Ontario Horsemen's Association wants Ford up. They don't want him back. You got to have land and places to train horses. So I started racing in the 1970s. And bit by bit, we had tracks everywhere. They closed all down. That was my livelihood. What was it? I was trying to figure it out. Wow, Detroit River's pretty close, isn't it? So I'm down. I wondered why Windsor closed up. That was where it started. Windsor Raceway in 1975. Funny, I walk into places and they tell the story. It's walkabout night. So I'm in this pinball arcade. I love playing pinball because we didn't have video games. And these men are coming in with suitcases from the Detroit side. They're bookies. They're just flooding in illegal bet money. It's screwed. I think it screwed Windsor Raceway. You look on there, 210. They locked the gates. They locked her right down. She's one of the best standardbred racing tracks in Canada and probably the United States. And they just locked the gates. And it's sad. He's a jockey in the United States. Oh, boy. Yeah, she's been going down for years. So he's in Kentucky. He told me about it. He said, these bush tracks, they just allow drugging and everything. And you go in there, you put $35,000 claim, or you claim the horse. Pick him up, go to the paddock, pick that horse up after the race, it's dead. Now, what causes bad horse racing? No transparency in where the drugs are coming from. We don't have a political power to defend the horse racing industry. But we got bosses called head steward and main stewards. Out you go. And they get them up by $200,000 fine and 20-year suspension. I'm glad they're getting them out. He said we have to rewrite the trainer's manuals. Yeah, there's got to be better codes of conduct. But what I was seeing in Australia is what I like. I'd like to get into bloodstock and buying horses. And I can get them scoped at a sale. Get bone density, get them scoped and their airway and see how they are. I look at a horse and I just look at the outside and I see maybe a girth and a lot of wind area. I look at his shoulder. But if you can get him scoped in a veterinary check before you buy him, it's getting transparency in Flemington. Sport will get better. Bone density is an important factor in a racehorse. And I was just on YouTube. I got back on Twitter. They cut me off. I didn't know why. And I got a letter. I wrote them, you bastards. I called them dirty names and everything. Oh, we made a mistake. You did. I'm sorry. They said somebody was spamming on the site. Oh, were they? Oh, you got your account back. Not being very good to write back and see Chris Waller getting better. A New Zealander that had no money. I don't know, the Kiwis. He made it in Australia because you can talk sports, man. That's why I like Aussies. They're right down to the point. I might not agree with you, mate, but we can talk about it. They don't tell you to shut up. I have no friends here because of that. I went downstairs, all your Green Party. I am in Canada, but that we'll never get in power. I have a lot of reasons. I can show you that Captain Paul was supporter of whale, Sea Shepherd, Australia and New Zealand. And Captain Paul came in there, and Stephen Harper sent the Coast Guard in. Now, they were in territorial waters, so shut up, anybody here. They were out of territorial waters watching seals being killed. It was a political ploy because they've divided up the country like fish, just to have power. And Harper knew he could get the Newfoundland vote because the cod stop moratoriums closed down their employment. So you keep a people poor, you go in and say, here, go and kill seal pups on ice floes with clubs, because that's the way they got to be killed, alive, and skin them alive. And it's a massacre. So Sea Shepherd's out there, and they ran aside the Canadian Coast Guard. That's an act. They said, no, they're terrorist bull crap. They said, thank you for letting us watch seal slaughter. Now, was it necessary? Well, the European Union banned seal whaling. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? The way we treat animals is the way we treat people. Well, they treat people pretty bad in this country now. They've got these off-booked shelter systems that are dreadful for people. They live out in the streets. And it's all, I found out who pays for this. It's these brokers. They're knowing the market's crashing and they're using it for tax shelter. Tax write-off. Just fund shelters and make people go homeless. Flip the houses. I thought it was the end of the house flipping. Well, they got ways to do it. I went on another site. What is it? TikTok? No, it was Snapchat. I'm getting messages there. Give me $80. We'll put it into house flipping. Ethics. There's no ethics anymore. It's just a narcissistic society. Agree. Not seeing what you're doing is hurting everybody else. I can come back to the mental health issue that narcissism is caused by ego. Ego is caused by a system of gratification and gratification by likes. And I think that's the problem with the whole world right now. I've never seen so much narcissism and greed and justification. Doing harm to others is libertarianism. And give me liberty or give me death. But you said, in God we trust. Didn't you? The United States. And then and it was a godly place. In God we trust. What happened to the God we trust? It went down. Even Napoleon Hill talks about doing right, good livelihood, and you'll make millions. But no, you got into a fear-based system. Napoleon Hill talked about go the extra mile. I see it on LinkedIn, a bus driver in a country there, the woman dropped her car, things. He got off that bus, even though it was running behind schedule. He got everything up and helped her on the bus. Go the extra mile being kind if the world's going into this sort of thing. Because it's the individual that puts these up and makes the world better. The extra mile to be kinder. You feel so disempowered if you watch this stuff on here. But if you see one kind act, it changes everything, doesn't it? Go the extra mile. So there's a CEO on LinkedIn, and I said, no. He says, if you're angry, and she's a CEO, works in a corporation. Yeah, be angry. I think if you listen to Dr. Gabamati, you can feel the anger coming up, but it's something you have to let go of because you can't think if you're angry. That's an emotional problem. He says, you're a wise man, sir. I'm a wise man because I've seen CEOs in hospitals burned out. Don't. Maybe the anger is a signpost that something's wrong. How many marriages break up by staying angry? How many? And how many businesses? You don't get anywhere staying angry, and you have heart attacks and strokes. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer has a good talk on trying to get even and get restitution. So I had a lot of money taken on me. I don't wish to do harm to them, and I don't like the confrontation. But I'll go through the court system any way I can to get out of Canada. And I got enough on my side by being nice to people. I'm talking to Canadian, he's with me. And this compound PTSD was my issue. It wasn't bipolar. I knew I was sick. I think I was sick. But compound PTSD is something that happens to you. I talk a lot. It could be that compound. And I had to start journaling and writing. That's a part of my program to help people out. There's a lot of work you have to do yourself, writing and the journal. And it gets into a habit. And as we go through it, and I get them to fill out forms and mood charts and everything, and they see improvement. And that's what is important to health, the improvement system, and moving ahead. Because I really don't think you can expect the doctor to do it all. It's a lot up to you. And when you're getting well, I did it. It feels like accomplishment. It's the goal in your life. Once you get well from compound PTSD, and this is a psychiatric study, you have resilience. It's built something into your psyche. If you can heal from it, you can be successful in life. Unfortunately, I'm getting older, but I don't feel old. I feel happy that I've done all this. I play piano, I play guitar, and I can shut down and learn methods of learning. And I'm grateful for being alive. Years ago, I was on those drugs, and I tried suicide. I guess God said, it's not your time. I've had God speak to me in a few places. I started listening to, I got so anti-religious because they were going against women's dress. It was miniskirts. Because I've always stood for women's dress. I walked to church on my atheist. And then I started listening to Dawkins, and being an atheist, it didn't feel right. So I went down to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, and I'm down about 80 feet. Let's think of water as an element that transmits spiritual energy. At 80 feet in that beautiful coral, I heard a voice. So I don't exist. Who created all this? I had a spiritual awakening. Scuba dive. So I'm talking to a man that's studying mindfulness. And he's in Florida, and he's right. He says, there's says, and that's what I was doing, drip diving. I love drip diving. Scuba. I like to, if I'm keep my health well, I'd like to get back to scuba diving. Up in Queensland, go for a scuba diving holiday once a year. I love it. I love it. Actually, I'd like to do it quite a bit. And if I get to Albany, there's a nice airport there. I won't make enough money. I can book a flight over to Cairns or any of those places and fly in. Queensland has got flights up there. I've used it to go to Melbourne from Albury. It's a nice city. I like culture. I like the arts. I like the murder loop. I'm just wondering what type of car I'll buy. I changed my Canadian license for a New South Wales an Australian license, and I want to buy a lease with my business. I'm going to lease a Mercedes. My cousin had one. Mercedes electric. They're nice. Oh yeah. But there's all this greenwashing and stuff on here. And there's tax incentives for buying electric cars. Yeah. In South Wales. Not here. That took a while by Lockheed. Mercedes over in Mexico. Cousin had one, but it was gas. So the other day, like in Britain's on there about air quality in London. Toronto topped the worst place in the world for air quality yesterday. Isn't that amazing? Bushfires and everything around denying climate change. Well, the old supporters of the Green Revolution have passed on. Parley Moore and the great older people that stood for it. The only ones I see supporting it is the gay transgender community and women. Well, women are environmentalists because they're children. So you hear Jordan Peterson running down. He's so woke. Am I against transgender? No. Because it doesn't serve me any purpose to be regretful of things. This is what Dr. Wayne Dyer talked about. They have these, is the mental crux of bosses. Judging, blaming, and hate. Pointing fingers. So you're in a situation and you're trying to problem solve it your way out. What are you going to do? Blame people? Are you going to blame people for what's happened? Or are you going to fix this problem? That would be the first step. Instead of looking around, who did it? And that's all I hear. Who did it? We are in a bad situation right now financially. And apathy will not help it. And I'm just going to leave. Because I find with conservatives is you can't talk politics around them. They're just, Labour Party sounds pretty good. I was never against the NDP. I had a woman up here and she was campaigning for the NDP. She got death threats. So she dropped that. Death threats. Isn't that a nice country? That's how death threats. This president, for a long time, went all the hell up to it was old school liberal and it's all shut now. Death threat Canada. Far right is just as bad as far left. There's a middle path in everything. Now Scott Morrison, he was sort of not doing too good with trade relationships with China. Australia will have to be a trade partner because Japan just dumped a lot of it'll be up to Australia to take advantage of it. Fisheries and water and New Zealand, you'll be the ones that are going to be supplying China. And I think that'll work. We got to think not against communism, capitalism. We got to think as trade partners. Now, I like her units. She said they've been sort of not as good. They've been taking parts of ours and making copies in North America. But they're like their units. They're the best in the world, I think. I've looked at them all over the world. I think she's got the best one. She talks to me from China. I like her. She's a nice woman. And she says it's really bad. China is really upset about the radioactive water. She told me that yesterday, so I looked it up. There it is. So China's got issues. They're good trade partners, or they're nasty war partners. Can we win a war against them? I don't want to try. I'd rather shake hands and just say, we'll keep doing trade with you and keep on the nice side and find the good in China instead of finding the bad. People and things get worse when you focus on the worst. Now, I'm not a communist. I'm a capitalist of Australian values. We call them sole traders, and for sports, the Australian government has got a good economy. Now, we call them sole traders in Australia. And sole traders are like an entrepreneur. They're people that have developed and formed businesses, and they've worked at them. And they made companies out of them. And they made a damn lot of money. That's why it's a rich country in Australia, next to Canada. Canada's made its money, and it was always this way, working for the man. Australia, you do have jobs there. You have people employed, but you can start an entrepreneurial business quite well. Here, not with CBC, they want you to work for the man. It's a pocket line. That's what I'm going to tell you. CBC, the